take this from two levels. You're dating. Dating means you can see you're not tied down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But even with that, do you flirt with other people? Like, would you, if you're out on a date with somebody, would you flirt with somebody else while you're out on a date with that person? Even if you can't. You need some water?
Yeah.
Yeah? What was that? You say yeah?
Would I flirt?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a flirt. I
Yep.
flirt to get your ass. If you don't understand, like, don't do that. Like, I ain't with all that. That's too much. Like, hell no.
Now that's in date.
Yeah, I'm flirting. I'm doing whatever else. Like, no, come on. Yeah, I'm flirting.
Okay, same question.
I ain't disrespectful. I think it's a way that you can do anything. It's just
Right.
like dancing. If you with your girl and a guy comes up, can I dance with your wife? You don't say yes or no. You know what I'm saying? It's okay, babe, you can get up and dance. Now, if she get up and have a nice little dance with the guy and come sit down, that's one thing. If she get up and she damn, you know what I'm saying, twerking on him and give him a lap dance, and then you might be, all right, baby, you took that
Get
shit
that
too
dirty
far.
wine.
You understand what I'm saying? But if you that type of dude where you want to see your girl doing that, then some men don't mind. Some dudes treat their girlfriend like they're a pimp and the girlfriend the hoe. Some people treat their date like they a princess. And I think that's contingent on the people. I don't think there's a general answer for something like that.
Right. Now that's with dating. Do you think that is your answer the same even if you're in a relationship?
I mean, if you and your girl at the bar and y'all looking for somebody to take home with y'all.
No, we not talking about together.
Or if she's just a flirtatious person, can she flirt? Or if you flirtatious, she might be trying to get a free drink. I don't know. I just don't think that. I think it's a line. I think it's.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
the question.
That's
When
what I was
is it too
going to
much?
ask. Is like, when is it too much? Because I do believe that there is a line. You know, giving compliments, smiling extra hard, things like that. You know, you have to know the person that you're with. I think also, if you know the person that you're with, you know if they're just that friendly, if they're a flirt. But I think that there is a line. There's a point where it becomes disrespectful.
And I agree. That's what I'm saying. I think it's contingent on the people. Like, you might know, like, I done seen old folks that's been together, not married. They just been in a 10-year relationship, or whatever you want to call it. And the man ain't shit. He go out and flirt with everybody. He up at everybody's face, dance with everybody. At the end of the night, he go home and guess what? He make love to his girl. And they have a good time, and they love each other because she know that's her man. And she ain't even worried about that. They don't even phase her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's their thing. So you got people who can get down like that. Now, me, personally, I don't want no, you know, like, I prefer not for you not to be in everybody's face.
Thank you.
I think I'm going to do enough flirting for the both of us. So I need you to sit down and pipe down, so let me get that. Thank you.
Oh, so you the flirt.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
you the flirt.
Right, and ain't nothing wrong with it.
So you the flirt, but the guy don't need to be a flirt.
Yep.
For me, if I'm with you, no.
She think.
I prefer that you not flirt.
But you're still
a
flirting.
Degree. A little bit, yeah, but yeah, no. But that's my own preference. That's why I said it depends on the people.
That's true.
Like, you know how I move, right?
You know I'm a flirt. I flirt with everybody. But I flirt it like a conversation.
Like, you know how I move, right? Like, I'm a flirt, but I never do it hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was, you seen me, you know what I'm saying? I could be there with somebody, and I might be complimenting or just talking, you know, making them laugh, whatever, but I stop there. And then I keep an eye. That's the other thing. If I see you're having a problem with it, I'm backing off. You know what I'm saying? Or I chill out.
There's a level of consideration that goes into flirting,
right?
Especially if your significant other is there,
right?
You know, not to say that you should do it differently when they're not, but I'm just saying you have to take. You have to take. No, what I mean by that is because it's in society today, right? Women purposely, they enjoy watching or feeling like they're aiding your man in being disrespectful to you, whether it's misery, whether it's because they, you know, they single, or whether I don't know what it is, but this is what it is. Whoa. So for me, I don't feel like my significant other, when you're dating, I guess it's a little different because you still got free reign. It's still a level of respect to it. But when you're in a relationship, there's no reason that you should flirt to the extent that another woman feels like she now can move a certain way because you gave her some type of arsenal. If it's to that level, you've crossed lines. Plain blank period.
Yeah,
Conversations shouldn't last too long.
You sitting over in the corner feeling disrespected because you gave somebody too much power
and too much attention. You know, conversations shouldn't last too long. You know, when you introduce yourself, you can't have the whole conversation holding her hand. You know, there's just certain things, and there are men out there that think that because they can do all of those things and they're not cheating and they come home to you every night, that it's fine, but they don't understand the level of disrespect that it places. You know, because
and I think that and when it comes to a situation like that, I've been at a friend's house where it was a woman there and it was two married men, and the girl just was like playing both dudes close. And like you said, I think some women actually, that's sad to say because I've not seen that often, but I have witnessed that where the woman was doing the flirting, the women sitting right there, and the women were like looking like, what the hell? You know, they were shocked about what was going on, and the husbands both, to me, were being naive. And I feel like as a husband, at that point, it's up to you to say, hey, look, chill out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's the third party's responsibility because she don't understand.
She don't have no obligation to the relationship.
Right.
Right. She don't got no obligation. She don't know what kind of relationship y'all got. Y'all might have an open relationship. Y'all might not be in a relationship. Y'all might be in your own business or blah, 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 blah. Whatever have you. But if I'm out here flirting, then it's my job to tone that shit down and bring it in. I'm saying that because I have a flirtatious personality. That's just who and what I am. And it's kind of like it just goes along with the territory. And some people are like that. And so they're accepted like that too. But I think it's a certain type of discretion because I want the person I'm with to feel like the most special person on the planet.
Exactly.
I want for all the other people to envy the person that I'm with. You're going to want to be in their shoes. So it's certain shit that I'm not going to do to put them out there like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think it's discretion. Like flirting, laughing, smiling, trying to get a little free drink here, or you're just joking with somebody because you know they like you and you're just in the moment. Because I don't have to be rude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'm with you, and so I'm not gonna be rude to this person. I can still laugh and have a good time and things like that. But I do think there is a line that people can cross, and I do think it's at the discretion of the person that's flirting to know when to back up, and you know what I'm saying, things like that.
Okay, so to take that a little bit further, do you accept numbers?
Will I accept the number while my mate right there?
Yeah.
Hell no. And then, if you try to give me a number, I would be like, hey, you can go get, you know what I'm saying? That's how I am.
Okay, but so that's relationship wise. But dating, if you're out and you're flirting and someone wants to exchange this number with you now, you take it? He's with you. The person you're dating is with you.
Oh, no.
From a man perspective, I'm going to have to say that's just disrespectful in a sense, because it's almost like, forget this person I'm with. You know, I know you there, but, you know, options. But
I thought that's what that is about. It's options.
That is, but, you know, like you said, there's a level of respect there. Even with flirting, any of that, it's all in how you do it. Now, if somebody just come up to me, if you got the opening, then yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? If they can slip you the number, you know what I'm saying? Because you are dating. Mm-hmm. You can take it. Just don't do it in her face in a way, you know, that's almost...
I ain't doing that, because if I'm with my kids and a dude try to talk to me, I'm going to tell that dude, oh, I'm on daytime, partner. If you can't catch me without them, you can't talk to me. So if I'm with whoever I'm with, whether and I think for my situation, it's going to vary because I am an indiscriminate lover. So if I'm out with my girl, then a guy try to give me the phone number, then okay, shit, if she take it, then we going to take it. Mm-hmm. If I'm out with a guy and a guy gives me the phone number, I know that situation don't play out like that. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
If I'm with a guy and the girl give me my number, if he with it, then we'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm an open person, and you like you say, you never know how something gonna turn out. But I'm never gonna be disrespectful. I ain't gonna sneak and do nothing behind nobody back like that. I ain't gonna sneak and take it and then call the person later. No, if I'm in a situation where I can't take it, I know that won't fly, and I'm gonna let you know I'm on somebody else's time. You know what I'm saying? If we dating and I was by myself, then timing is everything. Right now, the timing is just not working out for you, dude. I'm with somebody.
That's where you pass that Instagram real quick. Hey, look, I can't take that number right now, but hit me on the gram. Hit me on the gram.
You know, it's the same. Just go ahead and
you know, that's how they meet now.
But nah, I'm joking.
Go down in the DM.
You know what? That was a question for the day. Later.
But yeah, I think we all agree that there's different levels to flirting. It makes a difference on whether or not it feels disrespectful or not. And honestly, like Nan said, some people just can't take it, don't want to take it, and will never be able to be in a relationship with someone like that. I think I'm semi one of those people. You know, if you flirt to the point that what you're doing for me no longer feels special because it feels like you will do it for just about anybody, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be disrespectful at this point. It's just that you smile on everybody's face. You make everybody feel good. It's like there's no difference in how you treat other women to how you treat me. To me, that we on some friend thing then. You know, there has to be something that stands out. But I do feel like, you know, if you're flirtatious as far as you like to compliment women, and you know you just have a bubbly personality or a bright personality or whatever, that's one thing.
Or you're just nice.
Oh, you're just nice, right? That's fine. You might have a beautiful smile, so you like to smile, whatever. But like she said, and I totally agree, there's levels to that. Mm-hmm. You have to take into consideration the woman that you're with, right, whether she's there or not. How would that make her feel? You know, or how is it making her feel? Because the other person's not obligated, and some of these women are trifling. They are purposely. That's why some people say they have an easiest time finding somebody when they're in a relationship. Right. It's like you just have the sign, and everybody what is it they say? Nobody wants you unless somebody got you.
Yeah. Unless somebody else wants you. Mm-hmm.
Right. I think that's very important, and I think that's something that we, like I just said, I don't think we hold that in enough regard. Like, to me, if I'm deciding to give you my time, and if I'm deciding to be, like, for me, I feel like this, and I know this is just me, because we always say that. We try to generalize it, but it don't really work like that, because nobody does it, because people are so selfish. But I feel like if I'm gonna be with you, then like I could have just stayed single if I want to go and flirt, or if I want to hold on, I can have whoever and whenever I want. Like, why would I put myself inside of a situation and still be selfish? So I think that if I'm with somebody, I would really want to give that person all I have. Like, if I want to keep that person, then I don't want to do anything to.
That's relationship.
I don't want to. Yeah, I ain't trying to mess that up.
That's relationship. Yeah, that's relationship.
But some people feel...
But to get to a relationship, I think you have to start making those type of adjustments prior to getting into the relationship.
Very true. Right. And you have to want to make those adjustments.
The relationship is a possibility that you may never produce those things.
True.
And it also has to just be who you are too, because if you have to adjust too much and you feel like you're losing a sense of your own personality, that's not going to work and last either. So,
which is why I said that I still would have to flirt. Like, that's my personality. Like, I don't take away who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what you see is what you get. You get your good and your bad, but that's what love is. Love is being able to accept the bad things along with the good things without judging somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what being in a relationship is about.
So do you think that trust plays a factor in that too? Because if you know that, you know, your mate is a flirt and you believe that they won't cross any lines, then you might be able to deal with that a little bit. But if you don't trust them, you know, that they will, you know, stop at a certain extent, then I think that also plays a part in it as well. Do you agree or disagree?
The trust factor, I agree. I think that if I have to second guess a person a little bit. If I don't trust you, you better not trust me, goddammit. But you better hope I trust you every second of this relationship, because the minute I don't trust you, you're in trouble.
Right.
So for me, if I don't trust somebody, I'm not going to be in that situation. That's not love. You can't love somebody you don't trust. That's a lie. If you think you can love somebody and you got to go through their phone and you don't trust what they when they say they there, then that's not love. That's control that you're trying to have in that situation. I don't think that you could love somebody and not trust them. Sometimes we just don't want nobody else to have what we got. Sometimes we just don't want to let go of that good ass sex. Sometimes we just don't want to let go of that check because he's paying half of the bill. But if
you just don't want to be alone,
ain't no way in the
Lord.
hell you gonna tell me you alone with him. Because you're not, because you're worrying too much. And worry is fear-based. And where there is fear, there cannot be love in the same place.
Right.
So if I can't trust you, then you should be able to flirt, and I should be able to trust that you're going to bring your ass home.
True that.
Now, like, I don't think that I'm not caught up in the whole cheating thing. Like, I'm not scared to be cheated on. Maybe because I just never been in that situation. I never caught anybody in that situation. But I'm not worried. But that's small things to a person that's trying to conquer the world together. Like, we got bigger fish to fry than be worried about who the fuck you flirted with at the club last night. Like, I'm trying to save the world. What you trying to do?
I knew I wasn't crazy.
Because if we ain't on the same page, you the wrong person for me.
I was listening to Nine, and I was like, I knew I wasn't crazy. Had this conversation one time with somebody, and they didn't get it.
Yeah, be like that.
Yeah,
they did not get it.
Okay, comment on it. Switch it up.
Nah, I agree most.
Mostly. The second hour.
I agree mostly. You know, I don't think it's a control issue necessarily. I think sometimes it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
You know, wanting to protect yourself.
Right.
I think people
right.
don't.
But
And
if
to
you
prove
are
to yourself what your suspicions are.
Who's not offending you?
Right. I mean,
like,
and sometimes you want to be.
To love you.
Sometimes you want to be wrong, though. Sometimes you want to be wrong. Sometimes you have an inkling of something and you want to be wrong. You want to go through that phone and prove that, okay, he really ain't cheating. It's just me. Because some people have self-esteem issues and all kind of things. And there's a lot of things that play into that, or things that they've been through, you know, situations they've been through in the past. People's been hurt.
Right, which is why it's important to heal in between relationships.
And you can heal. But that doesn't mean that somebody can't do something years from now that triggers an emotion or a feeling that puts you back into a place. It's how you deal with it. It's not the person you're with's fault. But if it's continuous, again, that goes to communication at some point. Like, hey, you doing something that, you know, is triggering something, you know, don't do that.
And I agree with you. And I think that's why I have problems in relationships. And I think that's why up until a certain point, I would never, ever commit. Never. Like, that's not ever been my thing, you know, and that's because I don't want to have to go to those things. By the time I'm in a relationship, you're so naked. When I say naked, I can see straight through your soul. There is nothing that, you know what I'm saying? I know that's not the average person, but that's why I'm afraid to go through that. Like how you saying, like, well, I am so afraid to be hurt. Like, I don't want to be that person crying at night, or I don't want to be that person who feeling like I'm not number one.
But you know, that's your defense mechanism. Mm-hmm. Your defense mechanism is to protect yourself before you even go in the door. Like, you're not even opening the door for nobody to come in.
Exactly. Like, I'm not even going there because I don't want to have to go through that. But now, you know, I think it's different. If I can have you naked, I'm good. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So my situation now, I'm in a good place.
Well, I know that I know you see things from two different perspectives, because you speak from who you are, but you're able to also you know, see things from, I would say, the other women's perspective, because, you know, you're a rare breed, for real. Most women have that emotional aspect. That's what's going to have them go through their phone. They've been hurt so many times. They're protecting. That's their way of protecting themselves. And it's hard to trust even if you want to trust. So, you know, it's easy to stop trusting when you see little things. There's a lot of red flags that sometimes aren't there. So I think that you also can understand from that perspective as well. What would you say, you know, to those women? You feel
they
like
have to go through those emotional things with men?
Yeah, what would you say? I'm just curious on what would your advice be to a woman that goes through those different levels of emotions in relationships on I guess a balance point, because not any one of them could probably become a 9. But
right,
what would you suggest would help them not be so, I don't want to say deeply emotionally involved, but like, you know, a medium point where they're able to still protect themselves, because like I said, you ain't even opening the door, you know, but at the same time not leaving themselves so vulnerable at the same time.
Right, because I think that I would tell a woman, first of all, like, you have to define what's taking place around you. And I ask people a lot of times to explain, like, well, what are you thinking, or what are you feeling, or blah, blah, and then people can't readily tell you. Like, if you say, oh, that dude is fine, I'm saying, okay, so what's fine about him? And he's like, he's just fine. No, what's fine? Is it his teeth? Is it the body? Is it the hair? Is it how he dresses? Is it how he smells?
Whose definition of fine are you talking about?
What it is, and you know, like, okay, I like dudes with nice smiles. That's my thing. I like pretty teeth. And so I know that when I say somebody is pretty, it's probably because they had a nice smile. And I think it's the same in a relationship. So when we're identifying our problem areas, I think it's clear to say, okay, this is what I have a problem with. I have trust issues here. I'm dealing with this on this end. And okay, so why are you dealing with this? Oh, I'm dealing with this because in my last relationship, my boyfriend cheated on me. Okay, well, have you forgiven him? No, okay, so how can you move on to the next relationship when you haven't forgiven the guy in the overlay? Well, even if you don't forgive him, have you mended? Have you forgiven yourself? Have you healed from that? And I think that's very important to feel good about self first, because you can't, if you don't feel good about yourself, you're not going to feel good about yourself in a relationship. You're not going to feel good about yourself with $1 million. You're not going to feel good about yourself with a good ass job. You have to learn how to feel good about yourself first, and then once you've done that, you have to feel good about the person you're with. And I feel like it should be a holistic, from a holistic perspective. Do I feel good about him in this area? Do I feel good about? I tell it's 6 areas. I say mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and sexually. Like, we have to be compatible in 4 of those. You remember that one, so right. Now, if we are compatible in 4 of those 6 categories, then we can work at everything else as long as we're willing to communicate and we understand that this ain't no fairy tale and that this is a true working relationship. And when you have 2 people willing to work, then I think you can accomplish anything. But if one person is not willing to work, then we can't accomplish nothing. If you're not willing to give me that time, if you're not willing to meet me somewhere, so maybe I'm not what you need, and we have to be able to take that stance by ourselves and stop feeling like we owe somebody something, or stop feeling like we're going to take all these losses just to keep a man, or well, I'll put up with this, I'll put up with this. No, you set your bar and you stick to it. You set your standard and you stick to it. And if he can't meet those expectations, then he can get out of your space and leave room for the person who will meet those expectations. But we have to take a stand somewhere.
That's my suggestion.
Because, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, the other person makes me whole. I tell people I feel that's incorrect. I think that you're supposed to come as a whole, you know, because if you lose the other half in that essence, you know, you feel like you've lost a part of yourself.
Right.
So you have to be content with who you are before you get into a relationship, because if you're trying to have that other person help you become you, you know, if it doesn't work out, you're going to lose a part of you.
Right. So 1 and 1 make 1.
That doesn't really add up, but yeah, technically.
Yeah, that's what they say, you know, good working relationship. Like you said, whole and whole make 1 different whole.
Right.
Half and half That make one, but that ain't good. See, when that half start falling off, now you got broken. So, yeah, I agree. Like I said, my suggestion is stick to your guns.
Say what?
Stick to your guns. Like you said, set those. You know what you want. Set that as your baseline.
Right.
You got one chance. One chance. I mean, you got one strike. 2 strikes. Right. You get that first strike. Okay, now I'm going to break this down to your partner. I don't want to do this. You can't do that. I don't like this. If we can work past that, we can work. If we have to deal with this again,
it's a problem.
It's a wrap.
Right.
It's a problem. Oh, fall back. Okay, we can just stay friends. Or we just stay cool. Or I just don't even want to deal with you no more, depending on how severe it is. But,
right.
You know.
I definitely think you should identify, like, okay, what's acceptable? Like, I know for me, if I'm dating somebody, they would have to be healthy. Like, I don't want to date anybody that eats pork. That's unacceptable. So if you eat pork, then you're already off the table. There's nothing you can do to change my mind, because that's one of those things that I don't budge on.
Okay, so what if they were willing to stop eating pork for you?
Well, if you're trying to get some, you better stop eating it.
But see, that's where that strike come in. Okay, you stop eating pork, you're going to have to cut it cold turkey. You start cutting it. You see him eating pork again. Oh, I caught you with a real partner. What did I say? I'm serious about this.
Oh, no, ain't no warning.
Yeah, of course not with you.
Yeah, we're not.
I'm talking about everybody else.
But see, there's things that you, like for instance, with the pork thing, there's no exception to that rule for 9.
Right.
Okay, so is there something that you don't want that you would wait to see to give him a chance to change? Like if you found out, you know, well, you put everything on the table, but if there's something they say, well, you know, that's something I could, I don't eat pork, but there's this other thing I don't like that you know is a requirement, so to say. Is there any requirement that you would adjust with? Yeah,
definitely.
That's why I tell people, like, okay, you know what you need, because I think that there's a difference. You know what you need and you know what you want. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people focus on the wants because they have not fully understood what they need. Mm-hmm. You know, some people need to have an emotional support system. Not like they could be the strongest person in the world, but from that person that they with, they expect them to feed them emotionally, right. You know, and hold them up somehow emotionally, because maybe they're strong to the world, right. But they need that emotional support. That's a need. That's not a want.
But you know what? That goes both ways too. Sometimes mm-hmm. if you see that in a person you're dealing with, and that's something you're not willing to give, sometimes you got to pull back because of that. You know, I see this person. You know, I'm with somebody that want to be a gold digger. Mm-hmm. You know, I ain't trying to take care of nobody right now.
Right.
So maybe I need to fall back on you. Just give me everything else straight, but you want too much of me right now that I want to do. Or emotionally, like you really need a lot of attention.
Right.
Or you just really need a lot of, maybe you just emotional, you need a lot of PDA or kissing and holding, and I'm not that type of person, mm-hmm. At least right now. So, you know, think about how serious that is to you, and sometimes you gotta make a decision based on that.
You also have to be mindful of not having someone that may need exactly what you need, because now there's a power struggle or a lack of at times, or who gives it to who when. You get what I'm saying? So you gotta
reciprocals.
You gotta be mindful of that as well. If y'all both need this emotional support, that means someone's gonna have to be strong. And if that one person is always being strong, then their need of emotional support is not being met. You know, so you have to be mindful too of having someone that has too much of the same needs that you have as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You were gonna say 9?
Yes.
You was gonna say yes?
Yes.
Say it over, because I really wasn't paying attention. What you say? I'm sorry.
No, I was saying that you know, you can't. You also don't. You have to be concerned with maybe having the same needs. For people who have the same needs, like two people that are too emotional and they each emotional, then someone has to be the strong one. And if the other one does not reciprocate, you know, and when I need the strength, you can't, because you always need me to be strong for you, then that's a problem as well, because you're going to be missing that need. You're going to be missing that need.
Compatible though. Like, that's where compatibility comes in. And it's like we try to force have you ever heard somebody be like, well, this zodiac sign and this zodiac sign don't get along? People like, yeah, but I went with Leo for da-da-da-da. So what is Leo at now? Y'all still together? No, okay then. Y'all not compatible. You know what I'm saying? We like to justify things because we're
based
always
on
trying
other areas.
to...
Because
you know
we're trying... They say you're not going to find the perfect mate. You know, I was the fairy tale person. Mm-hmm. You know, he's going to come in, he's going to stroke all these emotional things and blah, 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 and, you know, stimulate my mind and da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, but then you look at all those things and then you don't look at the other things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because in my mind, those were needs, you know, and... You know, the other things, that's just things I wanted, so I could do away with those things as long as my needs were met. But yeah, you gotta find.
Yeah.
You gotta find.
Sometimes they swoop in on their horse. They got the robe, but they ain't got the crown, and you ain't even check for it. You too busy being kissed.
For real.
Okay,
you know
y'all.
what I think in the beginning, when you first meet somebody, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's your time. It's like saying, okay, you're going to get a job. On your resume, here's your time. That's your time to brag about yourself. That's your time to set your demands. A lot of people go into a job just like a relationship. They won't ask for the salary they want. They're going to take whatever salary they give them. They're not going to push about the benefits. Mm-hmm. They're not going to push and ask for the office with a window view. No, they're so happy to get a job, they just going to take whatever they're giving them. And that's a big mistake. Mm-hmm. And so that's why a lot of times women will say, well, I'm getting paid 80 cents to $1. I'm not getting paid with my male counterparts. It's because we entered the situation with a certain type of humility that we really didn't have to have. Right. And I think your credentials, even in a relationship, should speak for themselves. Oh, well, I'm loyal. Oh, I'm faithful. I'm maternal. I'm going to take care of you. I got some good sex partner. You're not going to play me out. So here are my demands. And I think when you first enter a relationship, that's the best time to lay down your demands, because now you're setting the bar. You're setting your expectations. You're setting your intentions. You're not budging. Either you take this or you leave it. And guess what he gonna do? If he trying to get it, he gonna do whatever it takes.
And
I
think that's part of why, I think that's the problem sometimes, and why women don't want to have that conversation, because now you're telling the man exactly who he needs to be, and he may not be that man. He may be that man just for whatever. But you don't know that. Now you've given him all the arsenal on how to be that man for you, and he's pretending. He's acting.
That's why they do the Steve Harvey stuff.
You know, so. I think there's a balance. I agree with you. You have to have those conversations, but I don't personally think that as women we should run down specifically to a man exactly what we need and how we need it when it comes to certain things. Our needs, yes, but our wants, I think sometimes we need to be mindful with that, because a guy will give you, and women do it too, exactly what you want and need for a time being to get whatever they wanted or needed from you.
Right.
Right. So if you don't tell them, then how would they know to do it? Are they just supposed to guess?
No, I think at that point, that's where you're paying attention, where you have to pay attention, because action speaks louder than words, and you can.
But men are not mind readers, and I think that's the greatest mistake that we as women make, expecting for a man just to know what to do to us and to give to us, and we don't ask for those things. I think if a man is willing to give you what you're asking for, that don't make him safe. That don't make him mad.
No. But see, I guess, and this is from a non-perspective, but from most women's perspective, at some point, they have told a man exactly what they wanted and needed, and that man gave them exactly what they wanted and needed for a limited time only to get what they wanted from that woman. And so now there's a cautious period, because we've been hurt, whereas you haven't had that experience, so because... Like you said, you lay it down, and hey, if it don't go the way it was, it was what it was. But we don't approach the situation like that. You get what I'm saying? So we're hurt by the fact that we told that you used the information that we gave you against us. So now we're trying to balance it. Okay, we're going to give you enough information to see if you know who you are, to get to know you. and you're gonna have to get to know me, and some things you're gonna have to learn, and some things I'm going to tell you, but you also have to want to learn. So you're gonna play that. You're gonna try to discover some things about me as well. Right. No, I don't need to figure. I should never have to figure out whether you're affectionate or not. Should I hold? I have to think about whether I hold your hand or certain things like that. But certain things, like if you always see me drink cran grape, you should know that's my favorite drink. I shouldn't have to tell you because you're paying attention because you want to pay attention.
And
if you always gotta ask me,
right?
Or you should ask because you have a desire to want to know.
Shouldn't have to be broke down to you. You should be able to, if that person cares, they'll ask you.
Exactly.
If they ain't picked it up from you yet, then they gonna say, okay, what type of stuff you like to do?
Right.
What do you need to relax today? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just what a player like me would do. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know about everybody else, but yeah, you know, they have to find out.
But you know, there's players like you, honestly,
I ain't
like
a player, you know.
that have got this down to a science.
Right.
Excuse me, where they actually have perfected doing this, and they just do it for the fun of it. It's not, they're not doing it. It's selfish. It's selfish. So we're trying to protect ourselves at the same time. So actually, you know, I need to sit down with Nine and figure out how she got this going. Cause hey, I ain't got room for no more heartbreak either.
Go have the surgery.
Have
your heart cord cut.
You know, I don't have room for heartbreak anymore either.
And I mean this. I think that a lot of relationship woes are self-inflicted, and if not self-inflicted, self-induced. And I think that we, as women and as men in a situation, have to take like personal responsibility for the part that we play in our own heartbreak.
Right.
And like I say, sometimes you could want to see something in somebody, and then you overlook the truth. You overlook the obvious. Because if a dude is a slide ball, usually he probably saying that in the first 3 words. What's up? Let me get your number. Okay. No, you don't talk to me like that. Go write it down then. Because if a dude come up to me and ask my number, I'm gonna make him write it down. No, I can just put it in my phone. No, you can write it down. Well, I ain't doing all that. Okay, well, you don't want this number bad enough. That already set the bar right there. Go find a pen and paper and write it down for the partner, and then I'll think about calling you.
Say, no problem. You got a pen right here on my
in your
list.
phone like you throw every other woman number in your phone, and you're sadly mistaken. I'm letting you know off the rip, I'm that complex. You see what I'm saying? And so when it's time to go out on a date, I'll let you know when I can come, and then I'll let you know where you can meet me. You see, and I think at that point, a lot of times, dudes will be a slight, just like you say, if somebody's showing you who they are, we're responsible for seeing it. A lot of times we overlook it because we're looking at what we want to see in that person.
I can agree with that.
Everything
in some cases,
especially as women, like you could, your man could come home and you know that nigga cheating on you. How? You know when your children lying to you. How? You know when your goddamn homegirl, your homegirl hiding money or doing, you know when she done slept with a dude, she talking about how, because we're intuitive like that. So there's no way you're going to tell me a man is in your face selling you some shit and you bought it all. No, you bought it because you wanted to buy it.
I can agree with that to a certain degree. I can definitely agree with that to a certain degree. I've been in those situations after the fact when I'm like, I know.
We just ignore it for our own reasons. We want what we want too.
Right. I could agree with that to a certain degree, but I will say on the other side, there have men that really do have it down pat, that don't throw no red flags, and
I believe that too.
And to add to that, the fact that we want that to be true, we take it as truth. You know,
I think in those situations, if it's all about a person, I think, like I said, if you're gonna act. You know what I'm saying? Do the job. If you're doing your job as an actor or whatever, and go with the flow, and then when they stop acting, there's nothing you can do. You can't catch everything.
I think we need to stop holding. I think what it is with heartbreak is we need to stop holding ourselves accountable for what the other person did. The other person was wrong. You get what I'm saying? But we walk away beating ourselves up and go into the next relationship trying to avoid the same situation when you didn't actually do anything.
Right.
Pick yourself up, tell yourself, and explain to yourself that, hey, you missed out.
Right.
You know, it was you who was wrong. And so I think that's part of the problem with women too, is that we blame ourselves for what goes wrong, and that's why we suffer so much heartbreak and carry so much baggage.
Right.
Now, if it was your fault, then it's your fault, though.
Pause. 9. 9.
Uh-huh.
Now you know we in the inside right now. You want to continue or you want to go into the inside?
I mean,
we can continue on the upside, but I just want to know if you want to go
inside. Let's go inside. I want to see what Nine bringing to the table now. What you got?
Okay. All right, let's do inside. We're going to play we're going to a song real quick?
Yeah, we're going to go into a song. Just one. And then we're going to go into the inside with 9.
Okay, sounds good.
I said I'm deep and I'm fired. All I want tonight, just get higher. Girl, you look so good, it's to die for.
Source for the gym day. Start tactics. And the jewel of the week. Visitors beware. For once you enter, you may never view the world and the same again. Your access has been granted.
Are we set out it? We in?
Yep.
We ready?
We ready.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to start off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do everything in reverse. I'll do Jimbe last so that we can jump right back into our love conversation as need be. first I'm going to drop the jewel because I haven't been really dropping a lot of good jewels. It's usually like, well, I'm not going to say they're not good. It's just not as formulated as I like for them to be sometimes. So the jewel for today is I wanted to give out this website for people who are trying to clean up their credit. If you want to do it the right way, a lot of times people ask me, well, how do I clean up my credit? Certain times, like, what is a good time to file bankruptcy, or what is a good time to do this, or can I just pay this off and, what you call it when you put all your credit cards, pile your credit cards inside of one credit card and pay it off.
Consolidation.
The only way to clean your credit is to pay your credit. Like if you don't have $1 million in doctor bills and a big ass house, there's no reason for you to go out and file bankruptcy anymore, because it's not like it used to be. You have to pay those things back. And so there's this a nonprofit organization called Credibility, and if you go to credibility.com for no cost at all, they will help you actually clean your credit up.
And that was what?
The process. I'm sorry.
Credit what?
It's Credibility.
Credibility. Okay.
Yep, CREDIBILITY.com. So yeah. So that's the jewel. And so the start tactic, we're doing the throat chakra. The throat chakra is the fifth chakra. I'm sorry, it's right after the heart chakra. The color of the throat chakra is blue and is located near the Adam's apple. This chakra is connected directly to communication. Again, the color is blue. It has 16 petals. It's located in the throat. It governs communication and creativity. Let's see. I said the color was blue. The musical note is G. The scent associated with the throat chakra is hearing and speaking. Good aromas to help this would be sage and eucalyptus. Incense are frankincense. The gemstones associated with the throat chakra are turquoise, tourmaline, and the metal is mercury. Let's see. I said communication, self-expression, free will, eloquence, and creativity. A lot of times if people are having problems with their thyroid gland, throat, the neck, arms, hands, and your bronchial tubes are all related to your throat chakra. And so sometimes those will need healing, especially if people have issues speaking, public speaking, with speech, with telling the truth, things like that. Some of the symptoms that are associated with the throat chakra is having a weak voice, thyroid imbalance, hearing problems, sore throat, laryngitis, gingivitis, colds, and the emotional imbalances that are a result of having an unbalanced throat chakra are lack of communication, people who are shy, people who are quiet, emotional, and disempowered. And I think a lot of times singing, chanting, humming, and sometimes even screaming can help strengthen the throat chakra. And I think the throat chakra is very important because that is our source of communication. And that's kind of considering that it failed on a relationship topic, because that's a lot of times the issue inside of relationships. Failure to communicate, failure to speak the truth, not knowing how to discern what we're trying to say and what's appropriate to say, and then being able to say it. A lot of times telling the truth to somebody will upset them, and I feel like if I'm telling you the truth, I should not have to be worried about how you feel. Right. That's not my objective. What I said was true. So how you take the truth is your own personal issue. Right. That has nothing to do with me. And I think that we have to get out of this culture of where we need people to say things to make us feel good. Right. Or say things that we agree with. Like, that's not my job here to make you feel good. My job is not to agree with what you say. And I think that's where that's very important to know about the throat chakra. So, wearing turquoise, wearing the color blue, burning blue candles, humming, singing, those things can help your throat chakra. And of course, Reiki. Okay. So that's the start tactic. We're going to move on up to third eye chakra on next week. So we are making our way to the top.
Oh, snap.
So, Jimmy, I want to talk about what I call the love drug. In the past, if you spoke to me, I would tell you that I didn't believe in love. And I'm going to tell you why I don't believe in love. I think, for one, love is the biggest lie ever told. Is there love? Yes, there's love. There are two emotions, or two really, I could say emotions. The emotion means energy in motion. That's what an emotion is. And there are two on this planet. There's fear and there's love. So things like greed, worry, fear, distrust, nervousness, all of those things are based in fear. Those are fear emotions. And then the other emotions that we have are love. So I tell people to look at it like, okay, it's a time for strategy and it's a time for harmony. You have to know when to make love and when to make war. And those are really what everything is all about. And so love, if you go back to the etymology of the word, love did not really exist in the English language until around the 13th century, which is around the 1200s. And it comes from the Old English word of thusail, which means to delight in, to approve, or to cherish. It also comes from the Old English word lufu, which means to attract, affection, or friendliness. That comes from the Proto-Germanic word lubo. And I say that because that's English, but when you look at Romance languages like Latin, or the older language like Latin, Italian, Spanish, the older languages, love is broken down into many different areas. So in Spanish, I'm going to use Spanish because I speak Spanish. There are three words for love. The first word is encantar, which means to be enchanted with something. That means to be, like they said, to cherish something, or to feel affection from it. You're enchanted with it. That's what encantar means. The other Spanish word for love is querer, which means to want or to desire or to lust. And then there's amor, and amor means to love, and it's from the Indo-European, which means ama, which means soul. That goes back to the root of the word when I'm saying there's either love or more, and one is the mind and the other is the heart. And those are the only two emotions. One that rules from the heart chakra, and the other one that's going to rule precisely from the mind. And that's what strategy and war is. That's what, I won't even go into all that. But so that's where the word love comes from. Now, love is in the top 400 most used words in English.
Yep.
And so it's in the top used words, and so when it's used so much, the meaning of it gets diluted. So now if I tell you that I have to go to work, then work is probably a place where I work 40 hours. I go in somewhere and I'm giving my energy and time in exchange for pay. That is clearly defined. If somebody's telling you they go to work, their work can range, but you get the gist of what work is. If somebody tells you they love you, you do not get the gist of what they mean, because it can mean so many things, and we do not go by the definition of what love is. Right. So you could say, I love this song. If you look at ancient Greek, they had 4 types of love. They had familial love, or family love, they have friendly love, they have romantic love, and they have divine love. And that's the same thing I just broke down to you in Spanish. The ancient Greeks used it that way. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately for us as Americans, we group all of those into one. And we call it all the same thing. So you can say, oh, I love that song, or I love this person. And a lot of times that love has conditions. You love them and then you stop loving them.
Yeah, it's
Smurf. I don't think you could ever stop loving somebody that you loved unconditionally, because there is no condition that you would stop loving them, because it's an unconditional thing. And I think so a lot of times we mix up what love truly means and what we feel when we say we're in love. Love in itself doesn't exist. Love is a chemical component of dopamine and serotonin that's released from the brain. It's what they call the hug gene. And so scientifically speaking, the feeling that you feel, that's all it is. And it's the same thing you get from ice cream. It's the same thing that you get from sex. It's the same thing that you get when you smoke dope. It's love.
Yeah, that's why some people say they fall out of love.
Say what?
I said that's why some people say they fall out of love and really they just lost that loving feeling. But but they still care for that person regardless.
Right. Right. And I think a lot of times we can care for something because we don't want to detach from it. And we need that certain type of connectivity because we're consumers. And in life, that's what we need as human beings. But I think that love itself is very unselfish. And so you can't say you love somebody and you don't want them to truly be who they are, and you want to change them and control them. Those are mental things. Those are strategies when you have to coerce somebody. Like Trish was saying at the beginning, how you get, how we're trying to be somebody else. That's strategy. If I have to think about what I'm doing in order to display my affection for you, if I have to follow a guideline and buy you roses and remember your anniversary and those rules, that's not love. That's following a protocol, and that protocol is based off of a strategy, and strategies are synonymous with war.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so love is not like that. And I
love
think
is a
that
battle.
we don't clearly define what love is, and it is a universal feeling. It's a universal feeling of belonging. It's when your happiness and my happiness are the same thing. It's when your sadness and my sadness are the same thing. And it's only in that space do I truly believe love can exist, which means there is never a way that I can offend you, and there's never a reason for you to defend against me because we are on the same team. You understand what I'm saying? Like your running back, or I'm sorry, your running back or your tight end is not going to defend itself from the quarterback. They're on the same team. They run in the same plays. So why would I defend against somebody that's on my team? So you have to have a defense mechanism inside of a relationship. Then there's not enough love there because we're not in harmony with each other.
Right.
And I think that is so far lost and so far gone, which is why a person like me on the surface will say, yeah, I don't do love. Because I know it's so cliche. And it's very cliche. And I think that is something, and that's what the whole 5D thing is about. And I'll transition into that conversation in a few more shows about talking about how we get to that place where love and harmony and that type of unification is the key, because that's not what we have in our current relationships, and that's not what we have in our current families, or that's not what we have a lot of times when we use and say we feel what love is. So that's it. That's my shoe bag.
Awesome.
Wait, I'm not done. The love drill. And so I thought I was done, but I wanted to touch on one other thing. And so when we have all of these things, and it starts to get what's the word? It's preempted. And so we look at television and we see what love should be based off of what's given. Love is marriage, love is monogamy, love is a family, love is this, and love is doing that together and saying these things to each other. And so we're looking for all of these actions or this protocol or this strategy to make us feel loved, and we're trying to get those things, and when we don't get those things, we instantly say that this isn't love. And that's not necessarily true, because we're trying to fit it inside of a box. We're trying to fit love inside of a box, but that's just like saying, that's like trying to fit happiness in a box. Tequila makes some people happy, whereas cookies make other people happy.
Cookies!
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Nine. So, not meaning to cut you off. So, I just wanted to touch on something you said, because people change, though. So, what was it that you said? Because you had said, I lost my train of thought. That's why I was trying to come in here before that. But I know that it was based on the fact that people change. So, what you first was expected from them, or what were you saying that you can't go in a relationship with? Because I had said it earlier.
Expectations.
It wasn't expectations. It was insecurities. It's like when you
Defensive.
There it goes. Yeah. You don't always go in with a defensive. Like, for me, I decided a long time ago I didn't want to change the person that I was, because of the fact that somebody hurt me, because then the right person might come along and now I'm being a totally different person, because of something that somebody else did in the past. Right. That doesn't mean that I don't remember what they did. It doesn't mean that if you do something that reminds me of that I'm not gonna catch it or whatever. I may just handle it differently because right. I may not have discussed with you what they did, so you don't know that you're doing something to hurt. But people also change. You come in, it's happy, it's lovey-dovey, everything's cool, and then a person changes. That's when your defense mechanism might go up. It's just like you speak about this from a love perspective, but I'm sure in life there was things you went into and then a person changed, and now when the situation comes up again with somebody differently, you haven't forgotten what someone else has done, but you know what other people are capable of now. You might not have looked at it from that perspective before.
But in that case, I don't think that you would be in any kind of like what you being defensive. Like, okay, say that you're in a relationship, everything's going good, like you say, and then you see a change in somebody. That's not what I'm saying. That's completely different, because at that point you are reacting. See, being defensive is a reaction to an offense, which means somebody had to offend you for you to put your guards up, right? Somebody has to offend you for you to have to defend yourself. And so at that point, they may have changed, but in that case, it wouldn't be your fault. Like, you didn't come into that relationship being defensive. It takes two people. So if that other person isn't giving you what you need, then everything falls back on to them being the offender. Because like you said, and like you said earlier, it's some people out there that are just predators. They're just like that regardless. They're in it for their own selfish gain. They're not trying to be in a relationship. They're not trying to love you. They're not trying to go anywhere. They're trying to get whatever they need, and then they leave it out. But that's when it comes back to us as women being able to discern, like, is he really here for me? And people show us with their actions every day. Like, is this person really here for me? Is this person really have me in their best interest? Because right now your actions are not saying that. And I had that conversation with somebody the other day. I said, you look for the good in people so much that sometimes you overlook the truth. And I think we do that. We'll overlook the truth because we're trying to make something work, because we're trying to make something good. And so we naturally, as creators, especially women, because we're creators, we create stories in our head about what something is when the obvious is showing us something completely different.
Okay, see, and that's what Keith and Aaron and Tippy and them were saying the last time, which I do agree that we do at times. We don't always do that, but I do agree that we do that at times. But I think men do that at times as well. It's twofold in that aspect. But yeah, because you talked about being on the same team. You gave the example of the football player, the quarterback, and who else? Yeah, I know. I just watch. I don't really know what's going on. The linebacker or whoever, being on the same team, and they're not going up against each other, but they may not look like they're going up against each other. But there's other things that's going on in the what is it? The locker room. There's a jealousy. They may. So what I'm saying is that there's those underlying factors at time that even though if you're playing on the same team, that makes a difference at the end of the day. Where on what creates that defense mechanism to come up. It doesn't. But I understand what you were saying is like if you have to come into it with a defense mechanism, that's one thing that is internal. That's you living in the past and things that you've been through and bringing all those things to the table. But like in my case, most of my scenarios is that defense mechanism came up at some point. It was something you did, something you said, something that changed, those red flags. I would say that I was one of those women, unlike yourself, who tried to kind of sit through the red flags, hoping it was a moment, thinking we could talk about it and it would change, things like that. Because I do look for the good. You try to if a person has more good than bad, you try to have it outweigh the other. But yeah, I'm too old for that now. But yeah.
But I've been the same way though. Like in certain situations or my little dating, because I've dated twice. Okay, maybe.
Twice.
Or like 2 relationships, I guess, if you want to count those as relationships. Right. And inside of those, outside of my one real relationship I had, and in the past, and the one I'm in now, I think that the others in between don't even count. But inside of those situations, I get what you were saying. So you go inside of a situation, and again, that's why I say I think we make stories up. We want to be happy, we want to do this, we want to do that. Okay, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'm going to date this guy, we're going to get married, or whatever we have. And then I'll see something that makes me say, this shit don't seem right. And immediately I check out.
So you've experienced that yourself?
I don't know. I ain't even wait. When if I got to question it, it's over with. That's why I say I have to trust you, because the minute I don't, you can no longer trust me. It's over with, because I done checked out. I'm not wasting my time. And now I'm the predator. Now I'm the one you got to worry about. Now I'm the one you're going to be crying about, because I'm not going to stick around for the heartbreak. And so I've done that before, and I've been in a situation where a guy was all into me, and then he might have just been a little bit distant, or maybe we weren't on the same page, or maybe I didn't see the growth and the development that I felt like I should see in that situation, and I immediately check out of that situation. I think the bad thing for us is that, not bad thing, I think we never really learn how to be in a relationship. Like, look at your parents, and then look at your auntie and his wife, your auntie and her husband, and your uncle and his wife, and then you look at those relationships. A lot of times I see women put up with men's bullshit because they mama put up with men's bullshit. Mm-hmm. See, I come from a relationship where my daddy never had no woman. He'll have a lot of women, and when one man, he might have 2 or 3 of them at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And then when he got tired, he went on to the next. And when that one broke up, he went on to the next. So guess what my idea of a relationship is?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I don't have that whole thing, because I don't have parents that were married. Now, if you come from a daddy that took care of everything, and the mama stayed at home, and the daddy got to cheat and do what he wanted to do as long as he paid the bills, mama was silent, that man will fall into that same type of situation. He's going to be a provider, but he may not be a nurturer for his family. Mm-hmm. He's going to bring the money home. He's going to do whatever the hell he want to do. You don't ask no questions. Why? Because I pay these bills. Shut up. Go cook.
Right.
You have people that are in relationships like that. And I think we catch those relationship traits and habits from our parents or from the people that we see growing up.
Right.
And those influence how we're in relationships. So if you have one guy that's a provider and not a nurturer, when your daddy was a nurturer, he might have not have just been a disciplinary. He probably didn't lay down the law. He probably just gave you what you want. That's what you're going to expect out of a man. That's what you're going to expect out of a husband. Then you got this dude out here who comes from a family where his daddy slung pipe everywhere and paid all the bills, and then nobody asked him no questions. He's going to bring that into your world, and you're not going to be very accepting to that. And that does not make him wrong. That makes you guys uncompatible.
Do you think it can be the other way around, though?
I'm sorry?
Do you think it could be the other way around, where because you didn't see certain things, you grew up saying, I didn't want a man like that, I want a different type of man?
Yeah. If you have a daddy, like in my family, I had a grandfather that was really mean, right? Mm-hmm. My grandfather was a mean, strict man. He laid down the law. In turn, all of the women in my family have men that are the complete opposite of what their daddy was. Like, they have suckers for men. Mm-hmm. And that's what they choose, because they saw something they didn't want, and they did the reverse. Mm-hmm. And so that's possible, and I think that's what you call psychology, and that's saying, well, what I experienced and how it affected me, how I dissect what affected me, and how I regurgitate what affected me. And so now we're talking psychology at that point, but that's what it boils down to.
But it does. Relationships, that psychology plays a deep part in it. It does. Right. I agree.
Awesome sauce.
So wrapping it all up, I think love is custom made. Mm-hmm. I think it's custom made, man. I really do. I think 2 people sit down and talk about what they want. And if you know me, one day I'm just gonna bring my counterpart to the like. It's a job. It's countless, endless conversations over and over again of what I expect, what I don't expect, or what you expect and what you don't expect, and what I'm going to bring to the table and how we're going to work part. That's like the whole first 2 years. just work.
But you have to see progress.
I can, and then once we get past that, we're at cruising altitude. But you got to get below the turbulence. You got to get past the turbulence. You got to get past the rising altitude till you get to that cruising altitude where you can take off your cool and you can just be and you're comfortable with what you have because you've already put the work in to get it. But that shit is hard work. And I think that's something we just have to accept.
Very true. And you have to know your limitations, your boundaries, what you're going to accept, what you're not going to accept. You know, and like you said, it's work. It's work. It's definitely work. I'm not trying to work. I'm at work right now. That's all the work I'm trying to do. I don't have time for no more work. And I think that's something y'all could touch on at some point too, is that individuals who think they want to be in a relationship that don't really want to, you know, you want that love and someone you can talk to and all of that, yeah, but you don't want to have to commit and then have all that time and energy but then again they go.
You need a person in that situation. A situationship. There you go.
Yeah, because you don't want that.
No, but that's your mind. You just no.
I think it's what Nine said earlier.
Because a situationship can turn into it if that's what you want, but. If you ain't got time for a relationship, then that's what you just want the needs for what you want. You just need you a friendship. A really good friend. There you go.
Yes.
That's all you need.
Problem solved.
Bye.
Well, thank you guys definitely for having me on the Word of Mind show tonight. I had fun once again. I appreciate you all.
As always, we're whenever you're on, we get a taste of what it's gonna be when Trish hit the airwaves.
Yes.
So,
coming soon. Stay tuned.
So yeah, we definitely love having that. Before we get up out of here, gotta give the telegrams. So tonight's telegrams are at K Chanel, at KACHANELLE, and at sexy_Kiwi81. SEXI_KIWI81. They showed us love. Go show them some love, and definitely show IBNX Radio some love. I just said how it's spelled. So show us love. Word of Mind Radio if you haven't already, and follow your boy at TR3GRIZZY.
You can follow the missing link at MSINLYNK.
Follow King Blacksmith at King_Blacksmith.
I know you came over the loudspeaker.
Right. And follow your girl at Brown Skin Goddess, BROWNSKINNED
And don't forget the 1K Sunsets either.
Yeah, I had my phone on mute. Brown Skin Goddess.
I don't did it now. You can tell them your 1K Sunsets.
Yes, you guys can follow me at 1K Sunset. That's my hiking page where I go on all my hiking adventures.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank y'all for tuning in, and make sure y'all tune in next week. Make sure y'all come party with us tomorrow.
Yes, 4 years celebration.
4 years strong.
IBNX Radio.
Happy birthday, IBNX.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Trish.
Well, congratulations to all of us. I could not do it. I would do it without any of you guys. I appreciate all of my team, IBNX, past, present, and future. 4 years, 4 more to go. Let's go.
Right. Okay. And there it is. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Thank y'all for tuning in. There's only one tip that way. Still with you. Trey Trisha be your real nigga with 9 E's for coming out your speaker. Goddamn, feel like still hit you. When they speak, you gotta listen. Cause nothing to pay attention. Got the inside, King Blacksmith. The outside, city block. 7 to 9 every Tuesday. From 7 to 9, that's word of mine. Word to the wise, words on the rise. That's word from the God. We work hard, but play harder. Get gold after every show. Time with the best shot. I be the next, we got the day.